Beef, why do you have such a problem with me?
Can we get the real Andy? I would prefer the real Andy.
Oh, let's get the real Max. I'll take off my mask when you take off your mask, brother.
Because who's your new favorite YouTuber, Ian, that wanted to be on the show with us?
The Madman. The Madman.
Mad Movie Man.
Let's bring on Max Movies because he scares the living shit out of me. Hold on.
Oh, wow.
Mad Max says, I think you should apologize, right? I'm sitting here in a goddamn torn down pool house.
I don't even know who you
pool house
are.
is torn apart, okay? It's torn apart because I'm remodeling on my $70 webcam, okay? I'm no better than you.
I'm sorry, but don't you guys find it kind of creepy that a 40-year-old man
To me, it's funny. He's a YouTuber. He wears a Dr. Doom mask to interview Tommy.
in all of their videos because they're afraid to show their pale white face? I don't know. That seems a little suspicious to me.
Yeah. Let me get Max in here. Oh, no, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, no. Oh, no. I should never have allowed it to happen. I'm already regretting it. No,
especially some dude just wearing a mask all the time screaming at the camera.
Mad Max is here. Never thought I'd see you in my chat. Great costume drawing. Thanks.
Rich, long time. Please take off your shirt and show us some saggy melon.
Yeah!
And please, with some Finnegan Fox enthusiasm,
Yes!
show us on the floor. Oh, God, I see what you did there. You son. I like saggy melons.
Oh, there you go.
But, like, it just...
Hard at work.
This
is hard at work.
You messed up
Where's
now.
your boss?
Saggy, hold on.
Go get your boss. Go get your boss.
At work.
I need your clout.
Chase it off of me, bro.
I need your clout. Oh, wow.
I'm at work. You see, I'm working. I'm trying to
get
end
ready.
the night.
Get ready for the
live now while I'm trying to get my job
There's a
done.
reason for that. Get ready for the cancellation live in person.
Get ready for the cancellation. Yeah, you are about to get canceled. You already know.
Mom!
Yes, honey?
You happened again!
Did you have your mask on?
I always have my mask on.
Oh, I'm not done.
I already told you. I was watching your other stream. You're like, I hope someone shows up. Listen, I'm backing down. I don't have. I can't take the melons.
You don't want this. You don't want
this.
You don't want
I don't know.
Max. You don't.
I know you're stocking shelves. Oh wow, you're
smoke. You do not want to mess with.
See, the accusations were false. Someone said you're doing a lot of texting at work, and she's stalking.
Do I text at work? Damn right, because this is my job.
No,
I'm doing my job while we're talking. So
you know what you know what the reality is? She was texting watching YouTube, and then she's like, "I'm going live. I better stock shelves."
Guest Tommy Telleriso.
Telleriso. Oh my God!
All right. Restart the stream. Restart.
Nice chatting with you. I'll see you guys later.
Jeremy, I just reached 5K.
Well, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
It really doesn't matter.
While you're here, if you'd like to consider memberships, it's only 99 cents.
Rip away, my friend. Rip away.
Because, man!
Movie Madness Entertainment. Welcome.
Hey, Max here. Should be in bed, Max. But honestly, shout out to my friends, Brian and Tony. We talked behind the stage, and the way I go about things, the way I call out things, the reasons I'm doing all this is, and I have a lot to say. I have a lot of it's not just one reason. It's not just one reason. One of it is I enjoy calling out fools. I do. I do also want to change minds. And the major criticism they had to me is the way you do it, you're not going to change anyone. You're not going to change anyone. Honestly, can I be real with you? I've done this for so many years that my patience has wore thin with doing the right thing. Or even friends that say, because they know they just double down, never apologize, that type of mentality. The other reason is my personal wants. I want to expose what everyone said about them for so many years there's a lot of truth to it. It's not all true. It's not all true, and we will get to the deplatforming in this recent Rerwriting Ripley article that I disagree with. I disagree with it. And I got called out for saying I'm for cancel culture when you go to the parks management. I understand that argument, and I think it's great pushback. The other thing about it, is the whole thing of talking with friends and, counter pushback and devil's advocacy and counteracting points behind the scenes. I love that too, but I honestly would just like to record a video or a live stream and just throw my thoughts out there, my strong opinions, and let the audience decide if I'm right or wrong. I love that too. I like being challenged, but I don't want to be. Sometimes I do, even if I'm wrong, I just want to say what I want to say, and that's all out there. But the reason I went so hard lately is I wanted those fools, because don't paint us with a broad brush, bro, is what Drunk 3PO said to me once on a stream. And we saw the majority of Ryan Kinnell's chat say no pushback whatsoever. And then when I went hard as hell at them, you see all the comments section, all these people saying, oh, yeah, they think that's funny. And you notice I didn't delete that shit. That is proof. Those are receipts. And that is why, without a doubt, I could say the majority of their audience in my opinion, are assholes. That they just think things are funny. Now, can I still change minds when I say that? I don't know. But even a bigger part of me now is leaning more towards being allies to those that may hear this shit and people saying that's funny and not even want to be on the internet. Because that's a strong part of this, the reason I do this as well. Just like they said, anyone making Moses Ingram feel unwelcome. Well, I don't know exactly what they said, is not a Star Wars fan, or, by staying quiet. And you know what? It's not one and done for me either. I'm going to call it out as much as I want to, as much as it's on my mind. I've consistently said that part of my videos are like therapy to me. I say what's on my mind. Now, for one, just to give you a preview, I don't think they should be deplatformed. And what I said about the Universal Studios situation, there's families there, and they are injecting politics where it doesn't need to be. They're making a spectacle, and they're saying things out in a private business. So I personally don't have any issues with going to management to say, what's going on here. Unfortunately, that has repercussions. This is also where you have to deal with repercussions and ripple effects. That is a slippery slope for other people doing nothing wrong, having live or having YouTube channels that focus on theme parks. But like everything else, it's getting tainted with politics. So I told my friends that, but that is not my only reason I do it. It's not only to change minds, because I have found out that people consistently defend the bad behavior, and there are still some minds to be changed. I do think that as well. But people need to know the only way to counteract hate, to me, in my opinion, is to use your voice and come together. And more people come together to say that's not cool. And once that becomes trending to say that's not cool, that's when you'll see it start to stop. It needs the trend to call this shit out. And I also have my personality. This is a lot of reflection. Now, I could have just talked to my friends directly more, but I just like to do that this way. I mean, there's times for going back and forth and having your friends' opinions. And I'm a simple man too. I just want to say what I want to say, and it's on my mind, and it really gets me upset to think that potentially someone might not even want to be on the internet because these people get such overwhelming support. And I got tired of the bullshit. Like, oh, Jeremy's a good guy deep down. Yeah, but is he? When someone says they're hurting and they feel underrepresented or things offend them, and your only response is F you, never apologize. That's where I draw the line. If you notice before, I said, well, maybe Jeremy will handle this differently. And everyone told me no. All it would take is, a little reflection on what they're doing. But ultimately, the bottom line is it can make other people feel unwelcome. So I've thought about it a long time. I think that's my number one goal, is to make all fans feel welcome. And besides this group of YouTubers that are linked together, I believe the number one thing for me is to speak out in unison with a lot of allies, not to attack these people, but to say that's not cool, and to get that trending, and to make everyone feel welcome and not disgusted with fandom. And that's any part of fandom I'm in. I really cannot take it when someone is so disgusted with what's going on and what's applauded that they might not even want to be a fan anymore. So let's get to this article. Oh, I did a quick Google search on things you can do if you feel, and I'm not saying you should do this, and I got criticized there too, suggesting that I'm not saying you should do this report, but I guess I'll admit that. I was suggesting if you're offended that you could go to the business owner. But to me, in my opinion, that's like if you were at a grocery store and someone was saying some bullshit there and you're just trying to buy groceries. Or you're just doing your thing at a business and someone's making a big spectacle. Now, some might call that a Karen moment on me. And I'm saying you're a Karen for disrupting everyone else for your own purposes. And I don't personally have an issue there. But I will say I don't want them deplatformed from YouTube or social media. I don't think that's the answer. And ultimately, the situation is a little different for me in a way that you can't, if you're saying that in public and yelling it out, oh, excuse me, I burped. With everyone around, you can't remove yourself from the situation there. But on YouTube or Twitter, you don't have to be on their channel, and there's options to mute people. Unfortunately, the mute button doesn't work in real life. It's not like click. Okay, but here, I don't know if people make fun of me for going to here, but this is what I our research from Google about what you should do on if you really feel like you're dealing with a certain kind of speech. There is some interesting stuff here. Pause. Restrain from making any hateful comments yourself and or relaying such content. Well, I will say I don't promote it. I try not to be hateful myself. I might say them are moron or ignorant or bigoted, but those are, to me, I believe those are facts. I'm not being hyperbolic when I say they're bigoted. They're so intolerant of other opinions. Whether online or offline, we can all act responsibly and contribute to the spread of hate and misinformation. Check out the United Nations Pledge to Pause campaign to find out why it's important. Take a moment to pause before you share content and how to do responsible online, whether you're watching, forwarding a message, retweeting a story, or watching a video in your feed. Fact check. In the digital world, it's common to come across misinformation and harmful content, but it's generally also easy to verify whether the content you came across is reliable. I think a lot of it is also on the YouTube viewers. A lot of people don't fact check, and that's part of the audience problem, and people capitalize on that. People don't care about fact checking. You also I care to an extent, not as much as some of my friends do. You can also download images and run them through image search tools to find out where they appeared first. Oh, I didn't know that. React whenever possible. Do not. This is one that I really. This is one that I really use, and I've researched before. You might not think I've done this, but I've researched before. How do you handle this type of speech? React to it. React to it. And then one person, maybe not me, maybe one of you other content creators, you're going to start to trend on it. And I'll tell you what, I've been doing this a long time. People are getting more traction calling this stuff out than they have before. So it's on the cusp of, create the new trend. Create the new trend by calling it out and making it cool, or using your personality to call it out. Now, I have to use my personality, and that's just me. I mean, I'm a madman. Sometimes I try to be nice about stuff, but sometimes I just got to let loose, and I can't put a leash on that or shackle it. I have to say what's on my mind, and I can't always worry about every little thing when I'm doing it. A lot of it is just strong opinions, off the cuff, unscripted, unedited, and it's just got to be the way it's going to be. And if I make a mistake, I'll apologize for it. I think people that say they will never apologize is ridiculous. Ridiculous. So yes, I will react to it. I will consistently react to it, and I'm not boxing myself in how much I should react to it. I'm going to react to it as long as I feel like talking about it. Speak up calmly, but I don't do the calmly part, but firmly against speech, and call it out to make sure that you do not agree with the content of the statement. When relevant, you can refute misinformation with facts, providing reliable sources to back up your argument. I know there's some that would say I should do that part more. Challenge. One way to tackle speech is to spread your own counter speech to make sure hate is not the dominant narrative. And this is really where I feel that this is important, because unfortunately they own the dominant narrative. So I want a truthful narrative, but I want us to become the dominant narrative. I want us to become the dominant narrative. And I will provide a link to this in the description. Support. Take a public stand and extending solidarity to people who are targets of speech can help fight speech. I'm not saying that word because I don't know how many times it's going to trigger the YouTube. I am here to make some money too. And demonstrate that rejecting is the responsibility of each one of us. Yes, it's all our responsibility. You want the world to be a better place? This is the way to do it. Honestly. See, support. Now, this is going to be the most controversial part, reporting. Now, this is considered cancel culture. If it's so volatile, I'm not going to say anything about that. But these are private businesses that rely on these businesses to make their money. They should try to follow terms of service. I've never flagged a video before, and I don't foresee myself doing it. I've never flagged on Twitter or Facebook either. But most digital platforms and online communities have roles to ensure users' discussion. This is more like snitches get stitches type thing. But honestly, if you really think about it, the platforms encourage you to use the tools at your disposal. But it's more like an unsaid role that you don't report stuff. And I don't report things. So I am not going to report any videos. Make sure you can easily report messages to administrators and moderators. Make sure to check out social media platforms, guidelines, and tips that aim to protect users from speech. For the most serious cases that may constitute incitement to violence, you could choose to notify organizations, file a complaint. Now, I don't feel like they have incited anything like that, or, they have gone that far. Educate. You can help raise awareness of an issue on speech, online or offline, as simply by engaging with your family and friends in conversations about hateful content can harm societies, and I do believe that. Advocating for responsible behavior and sharing public campaigns and educational resources. And then considering joining NGO or another civil society initiative that works towards addressing the issue of speech in your community. Now, just so you know, and I'm being transparent here, I have thought about contacting some organizations that are against this type of online bullying and stuff, to interview. That's all, to get more info about it. Now let's get to, actually, let's look at Jeremy's old video from the first time rewriting Ripley. And man, I should really get to bed. I should have just done this live instead of a pre-recorded vid. And I'm really sharing my thoughts with you. If you're like me, just spitballing and saying what's on my mind. And this ultimately, this helps me get to sleep. That's another reason I make my videos like this by myself. It helps me get my thoughts out. It's always great to talk to someone else, but sometimes I just like to speak directly to the audience too. Is just get my thoughts out. This helps my mental health as well. This is the first time his reaction, and they did also call for deplatforming then as well, which I don't agree with. I don't think that's the answer. That's going to make them a martyr as well. If you really, really dislike what they're doing, that's going to make them a martyr and make more people search out for them, Although I do not want people to feel unwelcome on YouTube because they control the narrative. I want to give counter information to start a more accurate narrative and to make more people feel welcome. And gatekeeping, again, is one of the biggest issues in all of fandoms, and I'm sick of it.
What's up, geeks and gamers? It's Jeremy.
But it is extremely frustrating to do it in a way that, why do I always have to do it in a way that's nice to the people being abhorrent on the internet? I've done my part. I've done my time doing that. I've done my time. I've done years of that. And my patience is worn thin, doing it in a way that benefits their viewers. I still would like to change minds, but ultimately I want to ally myself with people that may feel unwanted and disgusted with fandom, and they're speaking out. And you know what? By us, more people sharing these messages about what they're doing, it shows that they're not crazy. Because the only response you get when you say, hey, what you said is not cool, is look at what friends I do have. Look at my view count, laughing everything off without actually addressing your criticism. All superficial bullshit. You want to criticize me? I will handle your criticism directly. I won't say all this other bullshit to sidestep your criticism.
Another video, and today we are talking about some interesting information that has come to light recently about the people behind the Rewriting Ripley podcast. The same group of people that put out that slanderous hit piece on Geeks and Gamers, on people like Ryan Kennel from RK Outpost, The Quartering, Mauler, and so many others were focused in that nonsensical hit piece that was full of lies and misinformation. And it got a lot of traction on Twitter. And it was retweeted by several Lucasfilm employees and followed on Twitter by several Lucasfilm employees. Very interesting how it got such a signal boost out of nowhere. An account that only had a few hundred followers and got this really big signal boost. This is a really, really interesting story. And shout out to Data Racer 117 and The Quartering, Jeremy from The Quartering. Amazing work by both of them to expose these horrible people and the terrible things that they have been up to, slandering people simply for not liking The Last Jedi.
No, that's a lie. That's done as like a straw man argument. I've shown you Jeremy's tactics before, simplifying it, making itself look like a victim. It's much more complicated than that. It's not simply because they didn't like The Last Jedi. That's not why this article exists. Now, is everything factual in these articles? Absolutely not. But they do have a lot of links to radical people, and they share the same opinions and promote that stuff. So there is stuff behind the scenes that I can't prove, and I'm not going to try to prove. But I may actually do a video in the future about how many people they are connected to. Radical right-leaning people. I will do that because I know for a fact how many. It's like unsettling, to say the least, at how many people they're connected to. But that's just like when they say, if you don't like Reva, you're an ist. No one said that. No one said that. These are the lies they consistently say. And we're not going to watch the whole video. I will also leave this in the description because I still have to get to the new article.
That's essentially what this comes down to. And I want to also give another shout out to Jeremy from The Quartering, because I spoke with him for the first time a few days ago with everything going on with Geeks and Gamers. I spoke with him for the very first time outside of a live stream here or a live stream there, because we've been on a few live streams, but we spoke for the first time on the phone and had a great conversation. And my respect just continues to go, up for this guy. I really do respect Jeremy and everything he does. A great dude. And with all of this stuff with Data Racer and him and the things they've uncovered tonight, it is beautiful. And it's such good news. I'm revealing a new theme here on the channel. So as you can see, there's a border. I'm going to give a shout out to Krista Nova for getting all of this set up. We've got some production value, and now we're going to show this right here. Check this out. Oh, that is pretty. That's pretty right there, isn't it? This is a celebration for what Data Racer and The Quartering have uncovered. But here you go. The Rewriting Ripley podcast, trying to deplatform Star Wars YouTubers, is being run by Reylo SJWs. Reylos are weird. I think I've said that a few times here on the channel, just a few times. But just in case, Reylos are definitely weird, and they continue to prove that over and over again. She says The Last Jedi haters' opinions are violent, have damaged her mental health, and she fears for her life because fans criticized a movie. EVS is being targeted. Yes, he is. They are going after his channel. They are false flagging his channel, and they were
No, I don't like that. I don't like that part. No. Now some may say, "Oh, but Max, you said the Universal Studios." That's different. Different situation to me, at least. And I you know what? This might not be the best avenue. I should have just done this as a live stream, and I apologize. And actually, I'm not gonna not release this video. That's the other thing. When I make content, when I take time out of my day to make content, I'm probably gonna release it unless it's really bad. This probably would have been better as a live stream, this conversation. Just me solo talking with the audience, though. But no, I don't want them deplatformed, even though I really am disgusted by their lack of morals and how they'll do anything for a buck and making people feel unwelcome in fandom by constantly finding new things to attack consistently. And if you the other thing is, people might think that I just go after all YouTubers too. I really don't feel. I only criticize people that I really that really bother me. That really bother me with what they're doing and how it's making other people feel, and how ultimately they're being their behavior is being ignored by the general movie talk public, and how that can make people feel that are being impacted by their horrible commentary. Yeah, it is about, I hate their opinions. Absolutely. I hate their opinions. I don't hate the people. Their opinions are shit. Shit opinions in one talking point. And I think we'll watch a minute more and then we'll get to the new article here.
Successful to an extent. And this is what happens when you let far left-wing lunatics.
Oh, my God. Said the right-wing lunatic.
Put the hate mob on someone, and they are now targeting EVS. This is some crazy stuff right here, but you see the tweets that they've made, aided in an analysis of over 1 million tweets and 1,000 YouTube videos. This is the full story of the alt-right radicalization in the Star Wars fandom.
No, I'll be real. I was on a live stream with EVS once, and he told me to pick a side. Yeah, we're wrong sometimes, but we're better than these guys. That's what he told me. That's what he told me. And ultimately, they've admitted before they use the same SJW tactics just to win. No.
And, they put this out, just lies on top of lies. And you see here's Team YouTube responding. Just insanity, man. Insanity. Now, this right here, hey, we're trying to get EVS off YouTube. YouTube is currently paying attention. Please report the video. And then now take down the entire channel. So first they get the...
No, I don't like this. I agree. I don't like this at all. Now I can hear people. I can hear my friends in my back of my head. Well, Max, it's a slippery slope when you tell people that you're okay with them reporting at Universal Studios. I said I wasn't going to personally do it. I just don't have an issue with people doing it. And then if you feel you're offended by it, I guess there is a conversation to be had if you were personally impacted at the theme park. That is a lot more relevant than if you have take offense after the fact on the internet. I guess I could see that point for sure. But if I was at an establishment, a business, and I paid good money to be there, and some asshole is saying what Ryan Kindle said, I would definitely go to the manager if I was there. Absolutely. I would absolutely go to the manager there. And I don't like to, just so you know, I go to management to applaud great customer service as well. I've spoken with many supervisors to say your employee is doing a great job. I do that. I'm one of those people. I am one of those people that goes to the management and said, you know what, your employee's doing a great job. But if you're being hateful, I don't like that. I'm not paying my movie ticket or I'm not going to the grocery store to hear hateful people injecting stuff that shouldn't be there. And it's not the same as Twitter or YouTube to me. That's just my thought. Okay, let's remove that and bring up the new Rerwriting Ripley article. I should get to bed here. Let me see. This is where they've lost it though. I'm not going to read this whole article because RJ is also going to do a deep dive of this article. And I did read a lot of this article before I hit record. Honestly, once someone told me about it, I couldn't get to sleep without thinking about it. And this is the way I could say my piece on it. And then I look forward to RJ's coverage later on. Calling out hate in fandom isn't enough. We must deplatform it. That's not going to work. That's not going to work unless they really do something that should be like, I believe his name was Salty Cracker, did some crazy stuff. This article contains information about and mentions of certain groups. Ism, misogyny, definitely. I don't know about anti-Semitism. Sexual harassment, they are definitely okay with that based on Alex Stein, including quotes and descriptions about body shaming, yes. Bullying and harassment. This is what happens. I know what happens. When someone says something crazy like deplatform them, they will share that with their huge audience, and that's where they're going to get the bad comments directed towards them, and they're not going to stop. So that first thing I said, where was you pause and restrain from doing things? You need to pause before you do that, because they are going to unleash it. And going, this is going to that. The tools for YouTube are there. Don't abuse them. Don't abuse them. The businesses of YouTube, it's Twitter, they have those there for a reason. I'm not pro censorship. I don't actively promote that. But if it needs to happen, if there's something so volatile, ultimately, that live stream that Kent Ryan did, that's the first time and I'm not saying, please believe me, I'm not suggesting anyone should do this, and I don't want them to, but this is the first time, even though I can't stand Ryan and Jeremy, what they say, this is the first time I think that it probably potentially could have violated terms of service, what was happening in that chat and on the stream and going across the line, potentially, but that's subjective. I don't know. But they've gone too far here. Then they go into the recent stuff. They're also on point with their connections to radical right-leaning organizations. They all are connected at the hip, definitely. But I'll also provide this in the description below. You know what? I think I've said my piece on here. I might cover this again. I'm still going to release the video. Look out for RJ's coverage. And I think they've gone too far with the organized deplatforming campaign against them. I would call that out. That's too far. I don't know if that made you feel better about my commentary, but ultimately that's where it stays. I hope you will have, until I am actually starting to get sleepy. So this helped. This video helped me. This video helped me say my thoughts. Good night, everyone. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.